Welcome everyone to our second session of our summer career series. My name is Nicole Wesley, Senior Program Manager of Career Supports at TheDream.Us. We are excited to have everyone on today's call, especially to our new incoming scholars, as well as our returning scholars and alumni. Feel free, if you'd like, to introduce yourself in the chat, your name, your major, what college you're attending. Bonus points if you have a LinkedIn account and you want to share your LinkedIn URL. I know from yesterday, a lot of you are wanting to connect, so that can be a way you can connect using your LinkedIn URL as well. Before I introduce our guest speaker, a few items. Please make sure you mute yourself throughout the entirety of this event. If you do have any questions, you are welcome to put them in the chat. It might be best to wait to put your questions in the chat till the end during our Q&A session, because we know the chat can be very lively. If you do have any questions about our scholarship, I encourage you to look at our scholar program guide or ask those questions on our Facebook group. Any questions that you have today should be in relation to careers, in relation to our topic today. So with that, and one other thing too, we are recording today and we will share the recording out once it's posted on our YouTube channel. Today, throughout the session, we will also share the link to these slides if you want to follow along with that. And with that, I will introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker today is Shrek Garcia, who is a documented professional with over 15 years of combined experience in counseling, career coaching, educational consulting, and a social impact entrepreneur. Charette was raised and born in Oaxaca, Mexico, and migrated with her single mom at the age of 9 years old. She completed up to her master's program undocumented in a time when DACA didn't exist. She is the founder of Undocumented Professionals Network, in which her research and work involves providing inclusive opportunities that include the undocumented communities. She advocates for undocumented talent to get paid and to create paid opportunities for the undocumented communities in all fields. With that, thank you again, Charette, for being with us today, and I will pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And I see all these great things happening in the chat. I see everyone introducing themselves and just sharing their major, sharing with the city that they live. This is so exciting. I'm very excited to be here again with all of you. Thank you, Nicole, for the introduction. I want to say that if you came to the first workshop yesterday, this is going to be a little bit different. So welcome back if you were here yesterday. If this is the first workshop that you attend in this series, welcome. And I invite you to all these different conversations that we are going to have along with this incredible series that TheDream.Us put together. I'm very excited to be part of it. This workshop is called Connecting Your Major to Your Future Entrepreneurial Career. And this space is really possible thanks to the collaboration with TheDream.Us. I want to give a big shout out to them because this is my last workshop of this series. You will have more guests, but it will be the last one for me. And I want to make sure that I give a big shout out to TheDream.Us because everything that we do regarding providing support to the undocumented community, we can only achieve so much if we collaborate together. And I'm very excited to be able to collaborate with TheDream.Us, who is doing amazing, amazing work. And to all of you that are here today, thank you so much. So these are the conversations that I invite you to have today. We are going to review very briefly some terminology. Also, how can you be an entrepreneur with any major, and then examples of majors and entrepreneurship. We're going to go and check a little bit about the educational plan that I have for you that I want to welcome you to complete, which can help you, hopefully, as a tool. Also, an activity at the end, which is called Write a Check for You, and then a Q&A at the end. I am going to ask everyone to please wait and hold on to your questions until the end of the workshop because I have a lot of information for you. So let's go ahead and get started. First, a little bit about myself. I belong to many different communities. I hope that we share some of those communities, maybe one, maybe two communities that we're both sharing. I am a first gen. I come from a mixed status family. I'm the oldest sibling. I'm a mother. I'm an indigenous woman from Oaxaca, Mexico, and I'm a Latina. I'm currently a DACA recipient. And in the daytime, I say that I'm a counselor, I'm a coach, I work in educational institutions as an employee. And like Nicole said, I have 15 years of combined experience in management, education, and counseling. And in the nighttime, I say I'm a consultant and I'm the founder of Undocumented Professionals as self-employed individual. So in the weekends, I do my best to be with my family and try to travel as much as possible. And one thing about me is that I did navigate all my education undocumented, non-DACA through my master's program and was able to graduate debt free with my master's all the way up to my master's program. So that's something that I still think about and reflect on of how that even happened. And that could be a whole workshop just by itself, but I'm not gonna go into detail on that. But I do wanna talk to you about why I talk about this particular subject. Why are we talking about how can you combine entrepreneurship with your major? And the truth is that I did not see myself as an entrepreneur. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur because I always saw myself as an employee, right? And maybe if I tell you a little bit more about my majors, you're gonna know why. And this is maybe something that may relate also to your career journey. But my majors, I received a bachelor's in psychology and Chicana studies. I received my master's in counseling. And I'm currently in the process of trying to finish my doctoral program, which is in educational leadership, administration, and policy. I intend to stay in education. Education is my passion. And when I started to do self-employment, honestly, until just recently, I started to say that I'm an entrepreneur. Before that, I said I was a consultant, and before that, I said I was a contractor. So the reason why I say that is because we are so used to just seeing this one way of how we can search for job opportunities and paid opportunities for the undocumented community. I only would see the employee route, which is the traditional way of looking for a job. And I always saw myself as just working for schools as a counselor and as admin, just as an employee. And I never saw myself as self-employed, working in schools as an educator. And today I can tell you that I work both as an employee and self-employed. I do have DACA. I think DACA has given me the privilege to be an employee. But just because I have DACA does not mean I can't do self-employment. And I wanted to kind of be ready with my plan Z that I don't want to have. But because of so much uncertainties with DACA, as you all know, I decided to get into self-employment, and I currently work as a self-employed in education institutions as an educator. And for me, that just was something that I never saw myself doing. So I continue to use my major, my degree, skills, and knowledge in both as an employee and self-employment. And I do want to hear from you. I want to know, when you see this title, of this workshop, how can you connect your major with entrepreneurship? What would you like to learn or get from today? And I think this is so important to get to know what you want from these spaces, because it's so important for us to listen to the undocumented community of what they want, and not so much of what we think they need and want. And I think that has helped me in my journey as a career coach, as a counselor, as an educator, to continue providing workshops that the undocumented community really needs at this time. So let me know what you would like to know, what you would like to gain from this workshop in the comments, please. And I already see someone saying starting your own business. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I already see Yes, making connections. What are some websites or social pages you would recommend to learn more about becoming an entrepreneur? What are some web? Okay, awesome. I want to start having job opportunities for us. Yes, getting understanding how we can pursue higher education. Yes. I want to learn working as self-employed. Okay, yes. Making connections with community. I like that. I like that this is about making connections, which I see already happening in the chat. Working without a social security number. If you missed the first workshop, we went over some of that information. I know that the workshops are being recorded and they are gonna be shared again. The slides are also gonna be shared. So please go ahead and check that out. And of course, you're gonna have a series of workshops. So I know more workshops are coming, which they all look amazing. So if you don't get it from these workshops, you're probably gonna get your answer to with the other workshops that are coming. Okay, yes, no worries if you didn't get to the last session. You are gonna get the recording and the slides from these two workshops. Learn from others. Yes, that's the best way. Yes, to learn from others. Awesome. So this is great. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure that we can get to as many of you with your questions, and also because your time is very valuable. I want you to get the most out of these workshops because your time is very valuable, and I want to make sure you get the most out of it. Thank you so much for sharing. Continue to share in the chat as well, please. Thank you. So a little bit about the work that I do with undocumented professionals. First, it started in 2019, and it's some tell me that it's been a short period of time. For me, it feels like it's been a long time. But some of the topics of some of the initiatives that we work with is to really explore and have conversations about how an undocumented students can transition to an undocumented professional. We know that there's still a lot of information that we don't have for the undocumented community, and that because of the lack of a social security number and work authorization, the opportunities out there for us are very limited. It looks different for us. So the goal is really to help the next generation to have the opportunities of choosing. We don't want you to just have a job just to have a job, which I know I did that. I had to pay bills, so I just had any job just to pay my bills. But the goal is to make things a little bit better for you, where you have the opportunity to choose a job that you feel more, not only does it about paying you better, but also that you feel more fulfilled to do, right? We work a lot with networking events. We have had over 40 networking events, if not more. Actually, I should update that. We do have a mentorship program. It's the first national mentorship program that connects undocumentees with undocumentors. And then we do provide professional development opportunities. And our goal really is that we have these workshops being facilitated by those that have lived the experience and have had the experience of being undocumented, so we can better serve the community that we're serving, but also because we want to pass the mic to those that are undocumented, right? Because they're the ones that are going to be the experts in a lot of these conversations. So also, who is an undocumented professional? I want to remind everyone that undocumented professionals are students, are workers, are the youth, older generation, those with experience, those without experience. So really, it's all of us who can go ahead and start working as a professional or in their field. So we want to welcome everyone. This is not just for certain people, it's for everyone. Also, I want to remind everyone that as I'm being working more with the undocumented community, especially with those that are already professionals in their fields, I have seen that professionals call themselves different names. Some of them are part-time self-employed, like myself. I'm part-time self-employed, but I'm also part-time as an employee. Others do this full-time. Others are self-employed full-time by owning their own business and doing it full-time. Like they are not an employee. Others call themselves contractors, independent contractors, others remote workers, on-site workers, which is more hands-on workers. Also, some are speakers, and others call themselves freelancers and fellows. Others are interns, consultants. But no matter what you're looking for or what you call, at the end of the day, just know that all of these terms really mean that you're self-employed, that you're working for yourself and you are not an employee. Next is really trying to help you to connect majors to entrepreneurship. And I want to read this quote to you. I am a doer, a dreamer, a thinker. I see possibility everywhere. And that's what I invite you to do today, to really think about how you, with your major that you're working on, because I know all of you are students, how can you connect that major or use that major with entrepreneurship? So that's what I invite you to do today. And another thing is really, I don't have a business major and I'm an entrepreneur. There's so many out there that do not have a business major. If you have a business major and obviously you're gonna go in entrepreneurship, then that honestly is gonna help you so much. But can you be an entrepreneur with any major? The answer is yes. You do not need a specific degree to become an entrepreneur. But I do want to say that the knowledge you need to be successful to run your business or to be self-employed can be picked up through real work experience by you starting to do it. That's how I started. I didn't know really a lot about entrepreneurship. I did take some workshops in entrepreneurship, but I would just come out more confused in those workshops because they were not tailored to the undocumented community. So my hope is that with this workshop, you get something from it that can help you start that reflection and that thinking of how you can start. Also, college education can help you gain valuable soft skills that can be used in your new role. So the degree that you have, we have to remind ourselves, is just a document. It's a document, right? It's a document, it's a diploma that you have earned and you have successfully received, whether you're graduating soon, whether you already graduated and have a degree. That is going to help you tremendously to be an entrepreneur, because all those skills that you have learned, especially the soft skills such as communication, being a quick learner, knowing about technology, you can really put that skill anywhere, right? And apply it to any new role that you choose to have. Also, the type of degree that you have is not as important as your commitment, as you trying this. Let me try what entrepreneurship looks like. Let me try to be a self-employed individual with contracting or being a consultant. That's what I invite you to do today. And there are a lot of benefits of being self-employed. I am going to talk about not the great things about being self-employed because I want to be real and honest to you, but there are a lot of benefits of being self-employed. You probably have heard some of this because I know that TheDream.Us has amazing resources and they do a great job in sharing those resources. But I want to share and make sure that you know a little bit about those benefits. Being self-employed is being your own boss. You make your own rules. You make your own rates. And I can tell you that the freedom in doing that, it's amazing. I'm going to be honest, like my rate as a counselor is $75 to $80 an hour. As a contractor, as a consultant, that can vary, and that could be from $500 an hour to $2,000 an hour, being a self-employed individual. So I have the flexibility to make that choice. Another benefit is to control your day-to-day work schedule and using an ITIN. When I started, before DACA came in, I used just an ITIN. With DACA now, I do use my social security number, but I was using my ITN before. The other great thing is I have kids, and that being self-employed has really helped me to be able to work around my schedule to be more with my kids. So honestly, it has helped me so much in so many different ways. In regards to taxes, you will, being self-employed, you will have to pay taxes at the end of the year. Usually, if you're a contractor, a consultant, then you will have to pay taxes at the end. But as long as you organize yourself, when you're looking at your rate of how much you're going to be paying taxes every year, honestly, it's not very difficult. It's just being aware that you have to pay taxes at the end and making sure you allocate that money for at the end rather than being a surprise for you. And just a reminder how powerful this number that I have here in front of us is. More than 850,000 undocumented professionals are entrepreneurs in the US. Yes, that means there are undocumented people out there working full-time, part-time in some kind of way, whether it's gonna be being there, being a contractor, freelancer, being someone that owns their own business. It's amazing to see so many of us doing it already. And this actually is an old number. I think this is 2016. I see that I don't have the date, but it's not very recent. I'm sure now it's much higher than that. And also just coming back and thinking about how can I make that connections with my major in entrepreneurship. Really is to connect your major with entrepreneurship. I would recommend the first thing to do is learn about what occupations you can have with your major. If you don't know that, then I would highly recommend to be that your first step. If you have not done the research of what occupations, what kind of jobs, what kind of careers can I get into with my major, that will be my first advice to get more information on that. And I would say try to do between 5 to 15 occupations and fields that you see yourself doing, right? I want you to think the higher the number, the better, to be honest, because that means you're being more flexible in trying to find a career and occupation that can work with you. And then the second step would be adding entrepreneurship, right? How can I do some of these occupations in field as an entrepreneur, which can be applied to any major by being self-employed, not the traditional employment route, but being self-employed, which is thinking about how to use your skills, your knowledge, the major and education that you have, and using them in a new role as an entrepreneur. So that's what I want you to work on if you haven't yet. And now we're going to go to exploring and connecting majors to entrepreneurship. But first, I want to share this quote with you, which is, we often hear that we came to the US with nothing, but we came with knowledge, with experience, with cultural capital, with language, if you speak more than one language, desire, love, and memories. I want us to remind ourselves that we already have a lot within us to be an entrepreneur, to go into any career in entrepreneurship that we feel that we want to go into or that can work with us. And with that, I'm going to start going into exploring some of these careers that you can go to with different majors. But first, I want to remind everyone, for those that were not here in yesterday's workshop, I'm pretty sure you're going to hear about this, or you already have heard about independent contracting. When I first started independent contracting, I have never heard of it before. I graduated with my master's, not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And I can tell you, if I would have known about independent contracting sooner, I probably would have done it sooner. I probably would have tried it a little bit sooner. But I didn't. And the reason why I particularly talk a lot about independent contracting more than other self-employment opportunities is because independent contracting can really tie into so many different majors. And who is an independent contractor? Is a person, a company that undertakes a contract to provide materials or labor to perform a service or to do a job. If you are an independent contractor, then you are self-employed. You are not an employee. And I want to get a little bit of who is in the room. Have you heard or know someone that is already self-employed or a contractor? Please let us know in the chat. Please share. Who do you know that is already doing this? And what is it that they're involved in? What kind of work are they doing as self-employed or contractor? If you can add it in the chat, that would be great. That way we can all get that information and learn. Yes, my father, and very, very grateful that he has done what he has done coming here. Yes. Constructor, yes, exactly. I was just gonna say that all my uncles were self-employed, independent contractors, and that's all I knew. And that's why I thought that independent contracting was only for construction workers. And then, of course, I find out that that's not the case. There's contractors in so many other fields. My friend has an LLC. I see my dad is a mechanic. Awesome. My father too. Yes. My dad is an electrician. Awesome. Landscaping business, towing business. Wow, this is amazing. Both my parents own a cleaning company in Vegas. My mom worked as a nursing assistant and got contracted. My mom worked as a nursing assistant. I don't know if that's the same one or if I'm reading another one. Cleaning business. Wow, landscaping, construction, yes, art, painting, career consultant. Yes, this is all amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Please continue to share. Yes, so you might know someone already. Maybe it's not related to your field. Maybe it's not what you would see yourself doing, but it doesn't mean that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not possible or you're not able to do that. I think it's so valuable and it says so much that we have so many self-employed individuals in our families and friends. And I would definitely reach out to them if you have any questions about it. But I want to share with you this picture that I have here. It's this gentleman and this lady talking. The contractor in this case would be the gentleman because he's the one that is leading the conversation. He's the one that looks like he's specialized in that because he's looking at this map, he's explaining, and the lady next to him seems to be just listening and absorbing the information. So in this case, I just want to share that the independent contractor specializes in something. He's the one that is leading, he's the one that is saying, this is what we're gonna do. And then later it goes back to the client, who is the lady that will be the one deciding, yes, I wanna do this, or no, I'm not gonna give you this service or this particular job opportunity. I wanted to share that. And now we're gonna explore some of the real, research that has been done. We're not making this up. This is real information out there that you can get very easily by doing some research. But there's a lot of career options with self-employment. And the one that you see here is coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics of 2018, and it's just the percentage of independent contractors by industry. If you see, the biggest chunk is professional and business services, and I already see so many out there that are mentioning just by knowing someone out there doing a lot of professional businesses such as consulting, being a coach, in the different areas. So that would be there. Also, the other bigger chunk of self-employers are construction, right? We're no surprise on that because we just mentioned a lot of us know someone that is a construction worker in our families. And then the other one is going to be education and health services and financial activities and leisure and hospitality and other services, other specialties. So I wanted to share that. The other most recent study, I know this is from California and it varies by state, but overall what we have found is that independent contracting has a bigger number of career numbers in certain areas. In California, which I'm sure is going to be the same, very similar, at least in other states, is personal and laundry services. So basically, personal and laundry would be like personal assistant, right? Also, professional, scientific, and technical services, admin and support services, performing arts, spectator sports and related industry, real estate, and social assistance, ambulatory healthcare services. So you see there's a lot of opportunities. And now I'm going to share with you some information about are professionals in the undocumented professionals network. We have, this is coming from information from mentors and mentees that we've had, in particular mentors that are in the different fields. We have around 695, over 15 states. So all over, this is a nationwide information. And then we've had 7 cohorts in our mentorship program and over 200 colleges and universities. And what we have found is that professionals that happen to be undocumented, that are entrepreneurs being self-employed, are in health fields. And some of that fields that they're in health is health equity researcher, coordinator specialist, health liaison and nurse assistant, consultant in the health field, nutritional coach or nutritionist coach. So there's a lot of these different entrepreneurs already in this field. Also, we also found that there's also entrepreneurs in education and financial fields such as tutor, career coach, mentor, special education coach, consultant, professional services or specialty services, interpreter and translator, financial coach, bookkeeper, and so on. Also interpreters in law and other fields that are also in our network that happen to be undocumented are paralegals, legal office assistants, translators and interpreters, administrators in a nonprofit sector, such as nonprofit organizations, consulting services, specialized services in law. And artists, musicians, we have photographers, graphic designers, and writers. Some are in other types of gigs like gig workers such as drivers and delivery. Also, some that are in different trades, electricians, hairstylists, wedding planner, florists, mechanic, and many other skilled workers that specialize in a trade. So these are the undocumented professionals in our network that are doing this already that happen to be undocumented. And I know I just shared so much information, so I just want to make sure that you allow yourself to take all this info. And I want to give you just a real example of more like detailed information of someone that is doing this. So what I did is I'm always collaborating with other professionals, right? And in the network of undocumented professionals. And there is 5 different nurses that are registered healthcare nurses that said, hey, Sherette, I would like us to create this guide and provide more resources about how to become a registered healthcare nurse and being a self-employed as independent contractor. I'm doing this. I get paid $20 to $30 an hour, and I go to private homes and I help people that need a nurse. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about this because this is a collaboration that I did with them. We created a step-by-step guide. Again, you are gonna have this slide so you can review that slide of the steps by steps. But who is a registered healthcare nurse? Is someone who specializes working with people who have developmental or intellectual disabilities to help create a behavioral plan and teach self-care skills. So this is only for California. However, I know there's also some nurses, registered healthcare nurses, that are doing this in New York and other states. So this is not just applicable to California, but the example that I have is only for California, and I only feel comfortable sharing that information because that's who I collaborated with, the professionals that are in California. But California requirements would be to take in a healthcare aid nurse class. You will do the TB test in California and New York. It is, the live scan is possible to do without feeling that someone is gonna, give your information to ICE, at least in those 2 states. The CPR test is gonna be needed, and you will need a passport. This could be your foreign passport and ITIN number. Once you complete these requirements, you will be ready to work as an independent contractor in the as a registered healthcare aid nurse. So very, very briefly, this is not for registered nurses, right? This is not for that. This is a lower level kind of to to get started, if you, especially if you are interested in later becoming a registered health nurse, or if you are still thinking about something to do with the health field, but you need some experience, this would be a good route to do. And literally this can take 2 to 3 months to complete, and then you can start working right away as an independent contractor with different platforms of that hire independent contractor nurses. So that would be that. I also want to remind you, because we're getting towards the end of this workshop, is to really embrace all the abundance that you have. Like I mentioned earlier, we already have everything we need within us. You do not need to finish your graduating, to start being self-employed. You do not need to have a lot of experience to start. Just know that you can start anytime. I wish, I almost did not start on docu-professionals. I wanted to wait until I got my doctorate degree to be able to do that. And if that would have been the case, I probably would have never started, because I was still thinking that I needed to prove myself, that I needed to show everybody, hey, I can talk about and run in a docu-professionals platform until I have my doctorate degree. And I'm very thankful for the support and for being able to share my knowledge and skills with the community. So I want to remind you of that you can do the same. There's also different types of skills. I mentioned earlier, the soft skills are skills that you can continue to develop through your life. Communication is one soft skill. Empathy is another soft skill. I want you to think about your skills, both the soft and the hard. The hard are those that you can earn in a classroom. Once you get your diploma, for example, once you graduate, which is a huge achievement, right? You want to add that as there. That would be considered a hard skill. So number 1 and number 2, which is soft skill and hard skill, add as much information there. Think about that, please, because that's what you're going to need for this next activity, which is the only activity that we have for this workshop. And that is to write a check for you. If I tell you right now, I'm going to give you a blank check, and I ask you to write a check for yourself for a job that you're going to do for me as a self-employed individual, what would that be? I would like you to write a check for yourself. Everything, again, that you need is already within you. You don't need to finish. I want you to write a check for you right now, right? Think about your soft skill and hard skills, which is what I mentioned earlier, and experience the energy and happiness that is, behind all the abundance that you already have right now. And if you can please share it in community, what amount of check will you write to yourself, and what kind of work with maybe you will be doing with that? If you can please share that, share the amount that you will provide to yourself, like what amount will you give to yourself, and to remind yourself that you are worthy of this money. You're worthy to write a check for yourself, and what is it that you will be doing to earn that money. If you can please share it in the chat. Anybody? I do see. Awesome. I see already a brave soul saying 350 for tutoring and being part of Teach for America. I love this. And you're being very specific. So this is even better, right? Because yes, thank you, Melanie. We are manifesting that this money is going to come to you, that you're going to be able to become an entrepreneur with the skills and knowledge that you already have. Darcy's 7,100. Yes, what I need for my spring semester. Yes, I love this. Yes, we're manifesting that. How can you do that? If for the spring semester we're talking about, we're in the summer, so we're talking almost like 8 months from now, right? Or a little bit more or less than that, but less than a year, right? You can definitely make that happen. How would that happen? What kind of work would you be doing? 1,000 advertisement and marketing specialists. Yes, love that. I see these numbers coming. Gavi, yes, brave soul, manifesting 1 million a year as strategist with my own firm. Love that. Love that what we're manifesting right now. I will give myself a check of, oh my God, this is amazing. Um, what is this? Oh my God, this is amazing. I just love this. For starting a power plant generator for clean energy. Yes, I already see people thinking about a product that you're going to be creating. So yes, it's not only about services. It's not only about your time, right? It's also about what the idea, what you create. So I love that. Thank you. $400 as a therapist, 400 a session. Yes, let's say that, Mitzi, thank you. 2K for editing. Yes, Diana. Yes, 2K for editing in less than 3 days. Yeah, you can do that. 500K as my first salary of marketing. Yes, 5,000 editing and designing brand for other people. Yes, yes, especially right now. There's a lot of companies investing in, social media specialists, and all of that. So yes, I love that. Tax consulting sessions, 2,500. Yes, love that. We are manifesting that all this money comes to you and belongs to you. You are worthy of all of this money. You are worthy to doing these types of services and to be involved in entrepreneurship and to be able to connect your major with entrepreneurship. So I already see a lot of that happening. 100K in fashion designer. Awesome. Yes, I love that. 500K a year for owning a dental practice. Yes, you can, right? They don't want to hire us. We're going to create the place so we can hire ourselves. I love that. And I want to make sure we're good with time. How much time do we have?
Yeah, Charette, we have about 15 minutes left.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. Please continue putting that in the chat, continue sharing. I know some of you need to think a little bit longer for this. And everybody that is adding something in the chat, thank you for being brave and sharing that with us. Appreciate it. And now I want to also, like I said, I want to keep this real, right? I want to keep it real, tangible. That's something that you can use. So I also want to have this honest conversation around entrepreneurship, that first and foremost, we know that we are going to school for a certain major. I went to school for counseling to be an educator. I never went to school to be an entrepreneur, right? And it's not, it puts us in a very different situation. And I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge that not entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And the career journey for someone undocumented is challenging because we have to put ourselves in this situation. Why I'm asking you to put yourself right now, as in, connecting your major with entrepreneurship. And this is why we need to continue advocating for inclusive opportunities that include undocumented students, for paid opportunities in all fields. And I think we are just in the beginning stage of that, because I'm not going to go away. Even if I change my status tomorrow and become a resident, I'm going to continue advocating and doing this work. I can tell you that. And one of the quotes that I want to share with you is that we also know that DACA is just a temporary program. It's under attack right now. And I share this quote thinking about those that are not DACA and also those that have DACA. With DACA being in danger, how about we, instead of telling them to start a business, we start telling organizations, businesses, schools to start opening opportunities with an ITIN only, an EIN, or social security number, regardless of one's immigration status. The reason I put social security number on there is because those that have DACA will continue to have their social security number even if DACA gets revoked. That number is going to be yours forever, even if you change your status. And that's one of the reasons why I put social security number here. But we don't want, we will not, if DACA gets revoked, we wouldn't have our work authorization. And, our work authorization is going to expire and then we're not going to be able to work as an employee. That's why I put that there. But it's really time to include the undocumented community. And I think TheDream.Us and the work that we're doing together is really the initiation of that, of how can we support those employers that want to hire with ITIN and EIN only, and to normalize it. I also want to be honest and sharing. I shared some positive things about being self-employed, but I also have been doing this work for a few years now, and I can tell you there's a lot of disadvantages of being self-employed. So let's be real when we have these conversations. It's not all rainbows, you know, when we talk about being self-employed, because self-employment is not enough and it's not for everyone. It's also unstable. You know, sometimes I have a lot of contracting opportunities being self-employed, but sometimes I don't, you know, I don't have a lot of it. So knowing that it's unstable. And then also there's a great deal of responsibilities. You know, you have to promote yourself, create your own invoice, create your own contracts, also needs access to specific tools to be, you know, to be able to be self-employed, because you provide your own tools. Now you have to come up with your own computer, you know, you have to come up with your own things to make it work for you to be able to do the job as self-employed. And also sometimes, because this happened to me, I would not see myself as an entrepreneur, because I was thinking, or I felt like I was forcing myself to choose a different career that was not what I wanted to do. And that's the reason why I also delayed in being self-employed and an entrepreneur, because I didn't see the connection. But I hope that with all this information that we're sharing with you, and with this series that you're going to be in, that you are able to see that you don't have to completely remove yourself from that career. Maybe it could be a temporary option. Maybe it could be similar to the profession that you want to get into in the meantime, you know, while things change or while your status change. You know, we know that personal lives change all the time. You know, things can happen. You know, we're still going to continue to fight for a pathway to citizenship. So definitely things can happen for a better future for you. And lastly, the action plan. This is a plan that I created with the intention to support you and help you. I know that sometimes we don't want to do an action plan because we're thinking, what about if it changes? What about my situation is unstable? However, this action plan applies to anyone, whether you're undocumented or documented, because it could be, if this is your plan, you make it the way you want to make it, whether it's just for a month, whether it's for a whole year, maybe it's a long-term 3 years. And it's also a great way to reflect, right? Where am I now? What am I doing? And I want to share with you that in this plan, the section that I would invite you to do that I want to talk about is this one, which is options to work in the US undocumented or without work authorization or social security number. And then you get to decide which one you want to do more. Like, am I interested right now in independent contracting, freelancing, partner with someone, or have my own, become a business owner, right? You can do that. But it gives you more information, you know, gives you some information about ITINs, which I know the Dream.Us has a great tool for that. You can definitely combine the different tools and use them to make it better. We want to just give you more tools that you can use in the real world. So I hope this plan can help you. I hope that it can start giving you some ideas of how you connect your career, your major, your areas of expertise with entrepreneurship. So let me go back to the slide. Sorry, I think okay, there. So that is for you. Please feel free to share it, to use it, to share with other people that might need it. Also, and lastly, is undocumented professionals. Someone told me when I did a workshop, one of the directors of an undocumented center told me this, and I never saw undocumented professionals this way. So I'm always learning from all of you, because she said that she saw undocumented professionals as the bridge to the workforce, or the bridge to the community, and the bridge to outside institutions. Because let's be honest, the educational institutions sometimes are not going to have the answer. Sometimes it's very difficult to get around them in being flexible with us, in allowing us to educate them, right? And it takes time. So that's why when she said this, I thought it was so powerful. So please feel free to reach out if I can be of any support, any help. because we will continue to fight for a pathway to citizenship, but even more than that, for freedom that we all deserve in the undocumented community. I also want to share this offering, this research that I have for you. Please feel free to scan it, but I am going to share this slides with you, so you're also going to be able to have access to this after this workshop. But it gives you kind of a resource list of mentorship, ITA information, opportunity listing, etc. And we do offer the opportunity to create or open opportunities for undocumented. We can come to your space and teach others to do it, because many people don't understand independent contracting, don't understand self-employment or entrepreneurship. So we come to the institutions and provide consulting of how they can open an opportunity to the undocumented community. So we do that. We also have this page where you can post paid opportunities. Please share. This is the only way we can continue this movement of creating paid opportunities to the undocumented community, by you sharing with someone, even if it's just one person. Hey, there's this page that you can not only view opportunities, but you can post an opportunity for free. And these are 3 opportunities that I wanted to share with you. This one is, of course, in LA. I know that no one here is in California, but I wanted to share with you because Carecen is a nationwide organization. And I want you to keep an eye with them in case they have any other opportunities, because if they're doing it in LA, they might be able to be open to providing 1099 or contracting opportunities. And this one is, they were looking for a legal clerks, and they wanted bilingual Spanish and English legal clerks, and they were open to having it with 1099 contractors. So there's already, like I said, this is a movement happening. Also, 3 weeks ago, QB Numbers was looking for accountants. They're not in California. I believe I don't want to give you wrong information. I don't have it in front of me, but if you go to them, I would reach out to them and say, especially if you're in accounting or financing or business, I would reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested for a 1099 contracting opportunities. I know that you posted this accounting opportunity with undocumented professionals, and you share that you are open to working with the undocumented community. Can we reach out, and can you let me know if there's an opportunity? I would even put your resume on there, your cover letter, to let them know that you're really, really interested about working. And then the last one is, we do share fellowship opportunities. This one, I just reached out to them because this one was shared with me yesterday, which is how to be, it's a fellowship program, and it's paid, I think it's $35 an hour for those that are in the art field, such as, I think it's, you will see videographer, event coordinator, photographer, editor, and writer. So I reached out to them and asked them, is this only for California residents, or is this possible also for someone outside of California? You can reach out to them directly and ask them, because you just never know, right? And that's what I would suggest or recommend that you do. And I think that would be all. Thank you so much, everyone. We are gonna have some time for some questions. Nicole, if you can help me out and let me know how much time we have. And then these are the my contact in case you want to reach out. But thank you, everyone, and we can take some questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Charette. We have a few minutes for questions. So if you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. But I did see a question earlier about how can you find internship opportunities if you don't have a social security number?
Yeah, so like the example that I just gave you, there's a few, I would look into opportunities unlike the one I just mentioned in my last slide there, of opportunities available. We are going to be more up to date with the Undocumented Professionals website. Thank you for everyone's patience for that. We kind of had a little break on that because we were focusing on other initiatives that are new to the Undocumented Professionals community that is coming very soon, that we will be sharing very soon. But should be available as of August, again, up and running. We were updating that every week. And now, because of these other commitments we had, we weren't able to, but we should go back to updating the jobs and the job board back in August. So just check with us then. And then, like I mentioned earlier, like reach out to these organizations that are already opening opportunities, even though they're not in California, just to let them know that there's a need and to hopefully be able to open or consider opening opportunities later on.
And I will also add to that too, in regards to inclusive paid internship and fellowship opportunities. We will have a listing of those opportunities on our new website, which we hope to launch fairly soon here. But one of them is Teach for America. I know somebody mentioned Teach for America earlier when writing out their check to themselves. Teach for America has an inclusive fellowship program that, so long as you have a social security number or an ITIN, you are eligible to apply. Dream Summer is another one. Parker Dewey is also another one that has short-term micro internships that are structured as independent contracting. So again, so long as you have a social security number or an ITIN, you are eligible to go on to Parker Dewey. It's kind of like it's an internship board, but for short-term independent contracting opportunities that you can go on right now and take a look at those. I'll try to post that link in the chat. So also let me take a look at another question.
I wanted just to say, Gabi, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Aliento, check out Aliento if you're in Arizona. They have a lot of like fellowship opportunities. They're open to 1099 contracting opportunities all the time because I work with them as well in other events and other things that we've collaborated with. So they have been very intentional about opening opportunities to the undocumented community and work only with an ITIN or EIN. So I would definitely look into that. So thank you for sharing that, Gabi.
I'm trying to search for another question. There was a question earlier, Charette, did you reference, was there an opportunity for accounting?
Yeah, there was an opportunity for accounting. The other one, let me go. I believe it's in another state. It's not in California. I just did not recall the name of the state. So I would look into their website. That's why I added the website there. It's QB accounting. I believe I can go back to my screen and share that.
And we will also share the slide deck as well as the recordings. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, qbnumbers.com. Check out their website, and reach out to them. Just let them know that you saw or you heard that there was openings by undocumented professionals, and they will be able to give you more up-to-date information. But and learn about that. I would even reach out in case it works for you, depending on the state. I believe they had some remote opportunities available as well, but I would double check. I'm not 100% sure.
All right, and another question I see that came in, do you have any advice for aspiring musicians? What steps to take next during college and after college?
Yes, no, definitely. I think one of the things that we have to remind ourselves is that there's a lot of what I was looking, the new research that we found here in California. And I'm pretty sure that this is something that can be applicable to many different states, that a lot of this 1099 and self-employment opportunities / contracting opportunities are happening more because we are creating them more than using platforms to look for the opportunities. So I would highly suggest to get some of these steps of how to become self-employed and you creating your own. And one of the ways is if you already have some experience in music, I would say create your website. That's one of the number one things I would do if you're creating, because that will give an opportunity for people to look for you and find you, and they be the ones looking for your services, right? That's one way to bring those opportunities to you rather than the other way around. The other thing I would recommend is using social media. Social media is a great tool for businesses. And for example, Instagram and TikTok are having very good tools within their platform for businesses. That TikTok has accounts for businesses that gives you access to different things in their platform. I use that all the time, and same thing with Instagram, but there's many other social media tools out there that you can use for businesses purposes, because that's what you want to make sure that you use and take advantage, because you want people to get to know you. You want to bring people to you and be able to hire you for your services. Those are the two tips that I would recommend. And, I know you're interested in that. I would even, because this fellowship program just came into me yesterday, I would reach out to them, because that actually fits exactly what you're trying to get into, which is the Yo Soy, which is a fellowship program for the undocumented community. I would just introduce yourself, because you never know, it might be an opportunity to make a connection with someone there, even just to network. So those are my tips for you.
Well, thank you again, Charette, for your presentation and being with us today and yesterday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I do want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have our next session. We'll be having a panel of undocumented entrepreneurs. The time will start, or the event will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So hopefully we will see you all tomorrow to learn from our undocumented entrepreneurs. Thank you again, Charette, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.